All right, so new packet of information, new video. So this is part 2 of the final exam, and this is video 3 of the final exam. All right, so what we're looking at first is well, actually it was a big number 3, but anyway, it is Sarah's estate. So we're going to take Sarah's estate and we're going to do estate division. Now, I'm hoping that you remember a lot of the stuff. I mean, you should remember, even though I'm going over it fast, you should remember doing it at least. All right, so what price does each heir estimate the estate to be worth? Now, if you remember, you're going to take all of this information and add it together. But don't forget about the $50,000 in cash. That should be $50,000, but I ran out of room. So you are going to add $50,000 to all of each heir to get the overall price tag of the estate. Now, in order to go from this step to this step, you are going to divide by 4. And the reason why you're dividing by 4 is because there's 4 heirs, A, B, C, and D. I didn't name them worth anything. Creativity, not there. All right. Now, to go from step 1 to the next step, you have to subtract the item that they want. So watch. So I'm going to analyze this little chart here, and I'm going to highlight everything that was, let's see, the house, $92,000, B bought the house, D bought the vacation house, the jewelry, D1, furniture, A1, and let's see, the car, C1. So for heir A, I'm going to subtract the furniture, minus 10,000, and I'm going to get, right over there, 59,000. And then from B, I'm going to subtract the house, which is 92,000. That's how I'm going to get that negative over there. All right. For C, I'm going to subtract 15,000. That's how I got that C of number 52,000. And then D, I'm going to subtract, two things, 119,000. All right. That's how I got my numbers. Now, these are the numbers that you're paying back. All right. So B is going to pay back this amount of money. So this money gets paid back where it is the number of heirs. So when he pays us back, he's sitting on 0. He's paid back his debt. D, same thing. Add them together and put them back to the heirs. They're sitting at 0. So you have $122,000, because if you notice, you started with $50,000. $122,000 that is paying back the heirs. So you are going to pay back A and B, or they're going to get paid, A and B. C and D are sitting at 0 because they paid their debt. There's $11,500 left over. All right. So you're going to take that number, and it's a bonus. So heir A got $59,000, but there's a bonus of $2,875 for a grand total of $61,000. Notice that B had all of its debt paid, so he was sitting on a goose egg here, but he's going to get the bonus of $2,875. Now, if you pretty much, C is $54,000 if you pretty much pick up the pattern. D, again, had his debt paid. He paid back his debt. He was sitting on 0, and he got the bonus, which is $2,875. All right, retirements. Let me get out of this view real quick. All right. Now, in theory, this is all in theory, okay? Reality, there's several different things for retirement, but in theory, Tim works for Box Incorporated. He has been working for 35 years and will possibly be retiring at the end of this pension. His pension is calculated. All right, so I'm going to take 91,992. I'm going to times it by 0.018, and yes, we had this on like the first video. I'm going to times it by 35. That's how much money he's going to be making in retirement. So he was used to making $91,000, almost $92,000, and he's going to get a pay cut all the way to $57,000, almost $58,000, which is actually still a pretty good paycheck. Convert Tim's yearly pay to monthly. Well, his yearly pay originally was $91,000. So 91,992 divided by 12 gives you this. Now, his pension pay, he's now going to be making $57,955. And I'm going to divide that by 12 to get $4,830. Now, the main idea of this entire section is just to have you understand that when you retire, you're most likely not going to make as much as when you were working. So how much is Tim earning, or how much less is Tim earning? Well, he was making $7,766 a month. Now he's going to be making $4,830. So he'll be making $2,837 less. Now, on average, Tim will receive $1,100 monthly from Social Security. So after adding Social Security and his pension, how much is he earning? Well, again, in retirement, he'll be getting $4,830. We're adding $1,100, $5,930. Now, after adding everything, how much less is Tim earning compared to his average pay? His average pay was originally $7,666. He would, with his pension and retirement, $5,930 is how much he'd be getting paid. So you would find the difference, and that's it. In theory, his retirement, and of course, that is a very, very broad stroke of the retirement process. Apartment hunting. All right, so $775. Application is 0.5% of yearly pay, so that is converted out to a decimal 0.005 times $775. Yearly pay is times 12. Monthly pay is $10. I'm sorry, the application fee. Monthly rent is $775. Another last month's rent, $775. Broker's fee again 0.008. $775 times 12. Now, the one thing that you got to remember, and most of you guys do, you got to add in his first month's rent. He hasn't even paid first month's rent yet. You got to do that with an apartment. Jessica's financial advisor believes that she should spend no more than 22% of her gross monthly income. All right, so this is very similar to that question we had on like the first video. 22% equals $900. But what we don't know is, what does 100% equal? That's what we don't know, so we're going to create a proportion. 900 over 22 is equal to X over 100. Now remember, this is her monthly pay, and I tried to trick you with this because I'm asking for annual salary. So once you get your monthly pay, times it by 12. Dave bought a $3,500 car. Sorry, $35,000 car. He financed the whole car for 5 years and an interest rate of 3%. Now, this is the big monthly mortgage formula. This boy, big boy right there, this guy. This is what you got to do with that information. And so when we figure that out, now if you need help on this, you got to come see either Coach Moore or myself so we can help you with it. So he's paying $631 every month for the next 5 years of his life. So that's going to be a total of 60 months. And he's going to get, I believe, off the top of my head, $37,860. That's how much he's going to pay. Now, how much interest will he pay over the course of 5 years? Well, the original car was $3,500. $37,000 is how much he's going to pay, almost $38,000. So the difference will be the interest. There you go. Let's buy a house. Bob wants to buy a house, and he's making $42,000 a year. He wants to buy a home for $119,000. How much will Bob have to pay in the closing cost? It will be 5% of the purchase price. So $119,000 times 0.05. The closing cost will be added to the purchase price. Well, let's see. The closing cost was $59.50. I'm just going to add it to the closing cost. Now, this is negotiable. When you buy a house, you don't have to pay the closing cost, but for this problem, we are. So this will be the total purchase price. Will always be $124,950. Bob saved up enough for payment of $35,000, so he needed $124,950, but he was able to put down $35,000. I'm going to subtract. That's how I got my principal. This is how much money he will be borrowing from the bank. All right. So let me see if I can dual screen this again. I believe I can. There we go. Now, again, to figure out these next three blanks, it is the big monthly mortgage formula. This guy right there. All right, so if you need help, let us know. All right, so how much money has Bob paid the bank? Now, this question can be interpreted many different ways, but in this class, he is paying $430 for the next, let's see, that is a 30-year mortgage. Wow. For the next 360 months of his life, he's going to get a number. But he also paid $35,000 in down payment. So I'm going to add $35,000. So that means over the 30 years, he has paid $189,800. Now the house was only worth, I don't know why I got excited there, but it did. The house was only worth $124,950. So $189,800 minus $124,000, whatever's over and beyond, is the interest. So there you go. Now the investing, I guess we can do investing real quick. The way this is printed out is this investing sheet kind of just jumped in the middle of all this. Ben is 27 years old. He decided to start investing. All right, so this problem is now the investment formula. Okay, again, use the formula, get the answer. Now again, this is investing and how much money he would have after all this time, which he's starting at 27 years old, he's going to 60 years old. So that's 33 years of savings. You could have almost $1.5 million. Not a bad nest egg. Now, looking to the future, again, in theory, if his monthly bills was $5,000, so if he just started pulling money from that $1 million every single month without putting any money back, I would simply take this and divide it by 5,000 to get how many how many months he can survive on. So if he was to take that nest egg of $1.4 million and start draining it $5,000 a month at a time, he could go 273 months before he runs out of money. Now again, this is in theory, so 293 months, convert your answer to years, I just simply divide it by 12. There you go. Barry's a high school student. He bought a car for $10,000. Years later, he was involved in a car accident with sold. He still had $6,500 to pay, $6,500, but the insurance will only give him $4,000. So there's a difference of $2,500. Now, if Gary did not have gap insurance, he would have to pay the entire $2,500. If he did have gap insurance, then he pays nothing. Now, what gap insurance is something that covers the gap between how much the insurance company will give you and how much money you still owe for the car. All right. Now let's go back to the housing stuff. So let's see. I bet you I can change this. Let's see. Put that right there. That's what I should have done about 5 minutes ago. I didn't. Forgive me. Bob will pay the homeowner's insurance, property taxes, and mortgage in one monthly payment to the bank. Well, let's see. His annual property tax bill is $3,300. Oh, let me try that again. Is $3,300. I believe $3,300 when I convert it to monthly is $375 because, I bet you it's $275. Yep, it's $275. So that means he'll be paying $275 a month for his property tax bill. Now, his homeowner's insurance is $1,200 a year. So I'm going to convert that to monthly by dividing it by 12, and I get $100. That is an additional $375 on top of the $430 payment he's got to pay. So that means every month he's cutting a check to the bank for $805. Front-end ratio. Convert Bob's annual salary to monthly. Well, let's see. His annual salary going all the way back was $42,000. All right, so that's $42,000 divided by 12. All right, that's how I get $3,500. Now, his front-end ratio. Now, here it is. It says right here, using the monthly mortgage payment, monthly homeowner's insurance, and monthly property to find the front-end ratio. Well, if you're observant, all that was right here. So I'm going to take 805, and I'm going to divide that by 3,500. And I get 23%. Now, if you remember, front-end ratio, that is what the banks use to measure or determine whether or not you can pay off your bill. And if you have too much money going towards your house versus everything else, you're considered house poor. So the magic number is 28%. If this ratio is 28, meaning this ratio is 28% or lower, they're most likely going to give you a loan. Now the back end ratio is the same thing, except going back, it's all the debt. Car payment, so 620, I'm sorry, credit card, car insurance, cell phone bill, all of this money on top of the 805. So add it all up. So add up all of his bills and divide it by 3,500. Now the magic number here is 36%. His percentage is 45. That means he has too much debt. That means he could be considered an at-risk person. So they may not even give him any money. But a lot of banks do not go with back-end ratio, so most likely he'll probably still get the money. But anyway, that is how you do back-end ratio. Again, I went over this very fast. So come in if you have questions. So I'm going to conclude this video. Thank you for watching.